Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Michi Makes Up. It's that time again for monthly makeup favorites. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys my September makeup favorites. And at the end, I will also show you some items I've received in PR. One set of PR items I've hung on to for quite some time now. And in a soon coming up video to try on new makeup, I'll definitely be using some of those items to share with you guys. So let's start with item number 6. And I only have 6 makeup favorites today because in September, it was unofficial. I didn't make any announcements on YouTube or Instagram, but unofficially it was a low buy month for me because I knew how much holiday makeup is going to be coming out or had started coming out. So I took it really easy in September. Starting at number 6, we have the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Palette in Universe. So Universe comes with 1 all-over face powder, 2 blushes, a bronzer, and a highlighter. Along with Universe, they also released Universe Edit or Universe Unlocked, and then Ambient Lighting Palette Volume 3. Those 2 are meant for deeper skin tones. From what I've seen, it's kind of mixed reviews. I've only used this one, so I'm going to just comment on this. I do enjoy it. I like the Infinity powder because it's not a repeat. This is, I think, the first time they've put it in kind of these holiday palettes. The previous 2 years, in 2019 and 2020, they had the same finishing powders, the 2 same finishing powders repeated. I really didn't want to see the same thing again. So at least this is different, and it does give you this overall subtle, even sheen, which is nice. You don't have to be, too concerned that you're overdoing it. It would really be difficult to overdo it. So I think it's just right for a finishing powder. And then the 2 blushes I really enjoy, especially Vibrant Heat. So this is Luminous Rose. I'll swatch those for you. Vibrant Heat and Luminous Rose. Vibrant Heat definitely it is a strobe blush. And so it has more reflective quality to it. What I really like is you put Vibrant Heat on top of the finishing powder and it still does not look like you have too much going on. It's not too flashy, blingy. I have combo skin and it doesn't really add to the oiliness either. Like I can wear this comfortably and look nice for at least 4 or 5 hours. So that's great. As for the bronzer here, it's not that different from the previous 2 years. I really don't have much comment, although I still expect to see a bronzer with this palette. I've come to know it as it has a finishing powder, a blush, a bronzer, and highlighter. So anything after foundation and maybe setting powder, you could rely on this palette to give you that finished look. And then this highlighter here, it is a bit warmer and bronzier compared to the previous 2 years, which were also just, palettes suitable for light to light medium skin tones. The next item I have here is from Dior. It is their Backstage Eye Palette Bronze Neutrals, and it is a very pretty eyeshadow palette. I'm gonna pick 3 shades. Just very creamy, easy to apply, easy to blend. They are more intense, but look at that. Look how creamy and easy that was to swatch. These shadows overall they're more intense than the Dior Quince. And I guess with Backstage, the Backstage line, there's also a reason why this is clear, is so that makeup artists who are working backstage for a Dior show can see exactly, which palette is which. So there's a very functional purpose to this clear cover. Yeah, I just think these are really beautiful. They're soft. If you missed out, I remember in the dedicated video I talked about how if you missed out on the Burberry Runway palette, you get similar looks with this. And I still stand by that. I think compared to the Quince, you really get more product and more intensity. So if the Quince were never your thing, but you do want to try Dior eyeshadow, or you're just kind of looking for that perfect or more interesting eyeshadow palette, I think this has more to offer. The looks you get, the colors that are part of the color story, It's not going to be too crazy. It is still neutral, but you can do more with it. And I was able to create 2 looks that I liked. And I'm sure, you know, those of you guys who have more skills than I do, I'm sure you guys can do something really fantastic with this as well. So for that reason, it's made it into my September favorites. The next is Westman Atelier's iPods Rendezvous. And the standout shade from Rendezvous is going to have to be Bonne Chance. That khaki green. So I'm going to swatch it because I want to talk a little bit more about this shade. It's very light compared to the Dior eyeshadows, and I'll go back in for a second swatch. It is buildable, but it is still light. And if you go in with the brush, so you can see it's blendable, you can diffuse it easily, but as you do that, it does move and the pigment becomes even lighter. So while the shade is, for a deep shade, part of the, you know, iPod series by Westman Atelier, this is the most buildable, also the most pigmented. It's still not supposed to be like, you know, your powdered eyeshadows. The whole concept of these iPods is to give you light pigmentation and, you know, a very easy breezy look, some color, but not too intense. It's like the no makeup look. And on top of that, the very dedicated, clean formulation that they do. So while this is my favorite, I know when I use it, I'm not going to get the same, like I'm not going to get this type of look that I'm wearing now. It just doesn't have that pigmentation. But it is probably my favorite iPod set so far. And this is Bisou. So pretty. I think it's so pretty. And it is perfect for what it is. So again, very light. But you can imagine anybody who enjoys that natural look or they want to go for that natural look can just pop this all over their lid and call it, you know, it's one and done. Actually, all three of the shades here, the last one is Frappé, can be one and done shades. And this is buildable as well. Yeah. So I just wanted to spend a couple more minutes to make that clear in case anybody sees this and feel like, wow, you know, these look really pretty. Well, just know the pigmentation is supposed to be lighter, and that's the whole kind of concept around them. And then originally I wasn't gonna split this palette up with another palette I just talked about, but I had to because I am a purple eyeshadow kind of girl. I have Dior Backstage Plum Neutrals Eye Palette. This was released along with Bronze Neutrals, and I have to say, I like purple eyeshadows. I like this palette more. I could just use these 4 shades and I'd be just so happy with the look. Because these shades are so, they're a color story, you know, this could be a quad, these 4 shades. And they're a little bit different from these 4 here. So you could actually think of or use a palette if you wanted to, kind of divide it into 2. Use these 4 for, you know, one type of look, and then these 4 for another. You can of course mix and match as well, but that's just what I gravitated towards when I created a dedicated video for this palette. So really love what they did here. The inclusion of those 2 purples is just so beautiful. And these are buildable as well. Can really build up the pigment. Very pretty. And then for the second to last item, I have the NARS Climax palette. I've used this a couple of times. This is what I have on my eyes today. And it's so beautiful. It's like my favorite fall color story. got that khaki green, and then you have a metallic to complement, well, to complement the whole thing, but this green here. I have this green on my lid, and then I put this on top. Then I put some of this inner corner and then swooped it upwards. You know, I use this as my base, use this to buff out seams, and then use the shade in my inner or outer V, which I don't have the names memorized on this palette, but I just wanted to show you guys just a couple more seconds here. Just one of my favorites. And if you use the blue, you get a totally different look than what I have. The blue can be kind of the anchor to your whole look, and it'd be just different. So really fun palette, and I don't normally get NARS makeup to review or try, but occasionally, I mean, it's not just NARS, it could be other brands too. Occasionally I just see something that looks very interesting or very, very promising, and I just need to try it. So really, really love this palette. I highly recommend it. If you're on the fence about the palette, you're just like waiting to see what else is going to become available as holiday releases come along. There is the Sephora sale that's coming up in early November. I think end of October, early November for VIB Rouge, and then early November for VIBs. You might want to grab that palette then. And for the number one item, I have the Chanel Les Beige blushes. These are the Les Beige Eau de Blush or Water Fresh Blush. And I have two shades, Intense Coral and Light Peach. Intense Coral is what I have on today. I love these. They're just different. It's a different concept. The texture is different. And while, you know, it's not the first time we've seen blushes that are supposed to just give you a flush, like that's the idea behind them, it's the texture, the way that you end up applying these blushes that really drive you to give yourself a flush look. And I think it's a very cohesive theme. It feels good on the skin. They are long wearing, and these are not yet released in North America, so not available in Canada, the US, and I don't think it's out in the UK either. So it's currently only available in Asia. I really, really wanted to try these, so I asked somebody to help me and get them, which is why I have these. And I do have a dedicated review, which I will share the link below if you're interested to have a look, but I will swatch it today because there's no better time. Intense Coral and Light Peach are very different from each other in terms of pigmentation. Light Peach, as the name implies, is light and peachy. Intense Coral is way more pigmented. Also depends on your skin tone. I have light to medium skin tone, so on me, just a little bit of Intense Coral is like, it's intense, it's a lot. I really have to make sure it's blended out. So, and I think you can see they just have these little beads. And once you go in with a finger or a brush to blend these or swatch them, blend it out, diffuse, the beads just start popping. And you can see that's where the pigment comes from, it's those beads. And I think it feels fresh, light because of the, you know, the water element in this product that gives you that lightweight feeling. I mean, that I did not, maybe it's like a quarter of a pump. It wasn't even halfway, and this is how much pigment you get. So you can imagine if you wanted more, you could layer it more. You could do a half a pump and just get a lot. This would be enough for both sides of my cheek. And let's do that with Light Peach. And Light Peach is much lighter, much more subtle on my skin, and I mean even on, I'm sure, ladies with light skin, it's a very subtle shade. But it's beautiful, and it fully embodies the concept of a flush. A flush is not, it's not blush that you take, dab it in, and like place it a certain way. This kind of blush, because of its emollient texture, it's supposed to kind of go all over. If you want that very concentrated or a contour blush look, this is not the product for it, because it's water. It's water. It's really hard to get it to, just stay there. The more you spread it out, the better it looks. So that is how I would use these two blushes, and I think that's how it's meant to be used. I am keeping my eye out. As soon as I see these available, I will definitely share that information with you guys on Instagram, on the community tab, but these are beautiful. These are scented, has the same scent of the as the Water Fresh tint, and the Water Fresh tint, I know as the name implies, it's light coverage, but you could use it as foundation if you're just looking for very light coverage. I think it's enough, and when you put this on top of that, it's a very natural look. It's very beautiful. So that is why, for those reasons, this is why the blushes are #1 on my list. All right, moving on to the PR items. First I have here is a few items by What's Up Beauty. They kindly sent me one of their eyeshadow palettes and a set of their eyeshadow brushes. This is called Desert Monsoon. It's a pretty palette. The eyeshadows are made in Italy. I did use a couple to create a very classic halo eye look, which I thought was pretty, but I want to go into more of the shades. I want to go into the metallics, the shimmers. This will be included in my next try on new makeup video. And then with the eyeshadow brushes here, as you guys can see, I've already dug into or used them. When I do the try on new makeup video, I'll definitely use these exclusively just to see what it's like to create a whole look without mixing other brushes in. And then Rephr very kindly sent to me their holiday brush set. I have not read up on these or done any research, and haven't used them or washed them. So there's really not much I can tell you other than this is a foundation brush. So I'm going to definitely try these with you guys in a dedicated video. Along with the brushes, they also sent to me more new products. It is their what is it, like makeup modular organizer. Let me show you a few pieces. So I have 2 out of a handful. I have the modular vanity system, and this particular is for palettes. Then there's also the catch-all. And these are magnets. So it's called modular system because you can mix and match pieces and just have them kind of stick together. You can place it on your vanity, on a table, or in a drawer. I can definitely use many of these. I am running out of room, and I really very soon here have to think about maybe adding more space. And even within those spaces, I'd like some kind of organizer. So this is actually perfect. This is perfect. Love to show you guys how I managed to use these. And so this is the catch-all. You can put anything in there. And again, the magnets on each of the sides, you can kind of use to your imagination's fullest extent. So there's a few more pieces here. I'm gonna spend some time to play around with them over the weekend and just see how we can better organize the space and maybe get more space out of what I have. So that is all. My makeup favorites for September and some PR items. So thank you so much to What's Up Beauty and Rephr for sending me these items. And I will talk to you guys all very soon. I hope your week has gone well. Bye.